Shane Gill. He's the engineering manager and leader of Fire in Motion, the team that acts as sort of a front door for our group called R&D at Octopus Deploy. Shane shares how his team tackles tough problems in this episode and how they support engineers across the country, keeps the motion steady, so to speak. So, Shane, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came about at Octopus. You're actually one of the longest standing employees at Octopus. How many years has it been? 11 years?
Yeah, 11 years, just past 11 years.
And what's the story behind you joining Octopus?
I was working on Minecraft mini games. Incredible job. That business folded, so I was finding a new place to work. And I was trying to find something that was better than that job, which I knew was going to be a big challenge. And I sort of discovered Octopus through Paul's blog, Paul's sort of famous blog. And I really identified with what he was writing about business, his business and people values. I held the same values. That was important to me that I worked somewhere that I shared the values with. At that time, he was sort of discussing his ideal business was. I think his example was like these German family-run businesses that have been going for centuries. There's a lot to that, right? You have to be you have to be a sustainable business. You got to be in it for your customers. So that means a lot. I joined the same day that we got our first office. We had an office in Queen Street, which held about 20 people. Before that, there was a handful of people who were working out of the state library. That was Octopus headquarters for a while.
Many, many years later, you're now leading Fire in Motion. Tell us a little bit about Fire in Motion. What does that mean?
Fire in Motion was actually, I think, established in 2016. There was a first iteration of Fire in Motion. It was inspired by a blog post by Joel Spolsky called Fire in Motion, which details a military tactic where you fire while you're moving, so you don't get fired upon. And then he goes on to describe how to apply that to software, where you sort of, I guess we interpret it as you continually improving or providing value for your customer. I guess that's sort of the function of Fire in Motion. We change shapes as we do at Octopus, and Fire in Motion, I guess, was suspended for a few years. And then we came to a stage in our company where we found that dealing with unplanned work was really difficult. I think it's a challenge at any organization. But we sort of have this pendulum swing of focusing a lot on strategic long-term work, and then going, oh shoot, we forgot about all of this pile of stuff that is accumulating because we have customers who are using our product every day, and they have problems too. So then we'd all go and focus on that and forget about the long-term strategic work. So Fire in Motion is kind of the answer to that, or the way that we balance long-term strategic work with dealing with the needs of everyday customers, unplanned work that comes in. We're like you mentioned before, we man the R&D front door, which is sort of the interface between R&D and the rest of the company, or I guess it's as a proxy for customers, and deal with just the everyday stuff that comes in.
Do you have any examples of some of the work that you guys have recently possibly touched or shipped that landed in a release?
The examples are just far ranging. It can go from like a typo, like spelling mistakes, to this complex feature, Kubernetes deployments are not working the way I expected them to. So can you figure those out for me, please? Or there's a performance problem on my 12 node cluster. Can you help me figure that out? So yeah, I think the power of Fire in Motion is that every day we're shipping fixes or helping customers overcome these problems. So that's sort of one stream of our work. We also have a reactive project stream of our work that we call small improvements. And those are things that are great ideas that don't really fit with I guess, our strategic direction. So a good example of that is we had a customer just a month ago say, hey, wouldn't it be nice if Octopus did this? And we're like, yeah, actually, it would be nice if Octopus did that. So we're doing it right now. So that reactive ability is what we bring to Octopus and R&D.
What's the size of the team? What does it look like?
We're 10 people at the moment. We're split into two. We work to an 8-week cadence. So we have two functions. One is we call it the R&D front door. Within our team, we call that customer happiness. So that kind of describes what the aim is, hopefully making customers happy every day. And the other function is the small improvements, which is like an 8-week project or sometimes a bunch of projects. And we got 8 weeks to get those out. So the team rotates every 8 weeks between those two things.
Must be very satisfying being on that team because, like a boxer, right? You've got 3 minute rounds. You're bobbing, you're weaving, you're ducking punches, and you're throwing jabs. It sounds like fire in motion to me, right? Like you've got these 8 week sprints. You're working on small but achievable little projects that make customers happy. Must be very satisfying to always be shipping.
It is very satisfying. Yeah, I really love working that way. You have that sort of constant customer interaction and feedback. I guess it helps helps point you in the right direction, and you know if you hit it or not because you're always getting that feedback from customers, and you're always putting something out there that you know is going to be valuable to customers because they've just asked for it.
And so, one of the things that I think about, obviously, is you're very customer facing, your group. But how do you work with other teams? Like, how do you collaborate with, for example, product, support, engineering, those other teams at Octopus you need to coordinate with?
I guess we have a bunch of processes in place to help us. Our interactions are different depending on the team. So we're usually responding to other customer-facing teams with requests, say from support. We get a lot of requests from like solutions engineers or technical account managers telling us about the problems that they're seeing with the customers that they're dealing with. So we're often I guess the on the receiving end of those requests. So part of our job is to distribute that feedback to the appropriate place. If you're not in R&D, it can be a very confusing place to try to find what goes where. Like, oh, I have this problem. Who do I tell about it? So we serve that function within R&D to sort of, I guess, funnel the feedback in and distribute it to the appropriate place because we know where it goes. We know who's working on what. We have clear areas of ownership within R&D. We help, I guess, sort the mail. We take all the incoming feedback and make sure it gets to the appropriate place.
I was just going to ask you, like, you know, as part of Fire in Motion, you're going to be dealing with a lot of customer feedback. And there's always that tension between doing a lot of busy work and being effective towards the company's overall goals, arching goals, things like that. I think I get a sense there might be a tendency to, in some cases, get burnt out because you guys are shipping so much, right? So, is there anything that you guys do in terms of practices or rituals to help mitigate that?
Yeah, I think the rotating teams is a method that we use to help with that. So you're not always working on the same thing all the time. I think we're very, I want to say pretty disciplined about choosing what to work on. We have like severity systems in place and a backlog that has limited spots on it. It's not trying to avoid the never-ending backlog problem. So issues have to earn their spot in the backlog. Something has to come out for something new to go in, or something has to be finished for something new to get a spot on the backlog.
My next question was actually along the lines of how do you decide what gets attention? Because everything must feel urgent if you're dealing with a customer. Do you guys, obviously, that severity applies to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, the severity applies to that. So we have I guess it's a matrix that helps us, I guess, quantify the urgency of things or the importance of things in the moment. We use that to determine severities, and that depends on what the issue impacts. If it's an issue that's preventing deployments, we address that straight away. If it's like I wish you added a checkbox to this page, we get some of those too. Then maybe okay, thanks for the feedback, and then see if anyone else also wants that checkbox. So yeah, it really depends on what the request is. But yeah, like you said, the customer empathy and everything feeling like we have to do this is real and something that we sort of are mindful of. Otherwise, yeah, like you say, you just end up chasing your tail.
Do you ever find yourself like wanting to implement the features yourself? Like the fact that you're leading the group, but also it'd be like you just crack your knuckles and like fire up VS Code or use your edit IDE of choice. Like I'm going to do this myself. I certainly felt that way when I was in R&D. I'd be like, I'll just do it because we don't have any other people working on it, and I'll just do this plus the management side of it. That obviously didn't work
Yeah.
out very well. I found myself getting burned out all the time. But do you still code, for example? I'm sure you do. But is your check-in rate, is your GitHub status changing from green to white, or what's going on?
Yeah, it's had so I'm new to this role. I've only been in it for 2 months. So that's something that I've had to, I guess, had to resist, is the urge to just crack open the editor and, oh, I can just, I could do this in half an hour. And then 2 weeks later, oh, maybe I couldn't. No, I I don't. I haven't done any committing since I started as the manager of Fire in Motion. It is definitely tempting, but we have an amazing team of engineers who are, yeah, who, who are much better than I am at fixing these things. So I just trust them to do it.
And so your day to day, from your perspective, is obviously looking after your people and managing or coordinating all the work that's there. Is there anything else?
Yeah, it's also, I guess, interacting with other teams, seeing what they're up to. It's mostly, we got 10 people, so looking after them takes a lot of time. And a lot of time is uh, being mentored, I would say, because I'm new to the role. So I'm taking it's taking advantage of, there's a lot of people around who are very experienced and very good at being managers. So I'm spending a lot of time with them uh, to learn what works for them, and getting advice on what I could do better.
You recently cited an example in this conversation about a customer who spoke to you about a month ago about building out a feature, and it was very rewarding. I'm wondering, is there another example that you could cite that folks might know about that became a feature potentially that started off in Fire in Motion? Is that something that happens a lot? A feature starts in Fire in Motion and then evolves into a full-blown feature?
Features that start in Fire Motion. Yeah, so we've done a bunch. Like deployment freezes, I guess, is a good example of something that's been pretty popular. We did like OIDC, because that became a big need for people. But it didn't really fit with the strategic direction of the company, right? But we knew people needed it.
I love deployment freezes. I think it was awesome when it first shipped, and continued to champion it when I talked to customers. And
Yeah,
OIDC was
nice.
a massive one for me, a massive one because obviously GitHub app support, we definitely needed it. So server to server authentication was huge. It's not the sexiest feature. In many
No.
cases, the stuff that you guys probably build is got no UI. It's just stuff that happens in the background, but it's critical.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just stuff that you need.
I wanted to wrap things up to just asking you a few questions about the future of engineering at Octopus. What excites you? Are there any innovations that you guys are building? Anything you guys are seeing on the fire and motion side of things that kind of gets you going? I know you mentioned like the fact that you guys are pretty heterogeneous. You're doing a little bit with Go, doing a little bit .NET, probably some TypeScript, I would imagine. Anything there on that front that excites you?
Anything that excites me, I'm really excited about, the features that are coming down the pipeline, like Platform Hub. We got some like powerful pipeline stuff for next year. I mean, Octopus is always evolving in exciting ways, to meet the needs. I mean, the technical landscape is always changing, changing accordingly to meet those needs, I think is always exciting.
All right, now it's time for some rapid fire questions. So, just as a reminder, folks, Shane has not seen these questions, and so we're doing this because it's just fun to see the reaction of folks when they see them for the first time. So here we go. All right, what's the first thing you check when you start your day,
Oh, my
work
calendar.
wise? Work wise. Okay,
Yeah,
calendar. Okay,
yeah.
awesome. And you're using Google Calendar or using a calendar client?
Yeah, so I use Google Calendar, and then I have a notebook that I transpose my day onto, and then I use my notebook the rest of the day.
All right. Favorite programming language right now? Not before, not your past, but right now. What do you like?
Right now, favorite program, I'm just gonna stick with C sharp.
Ah,
I
boring.
know,
I'm
I
kidding. I'm
know.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We got .NET. We got .NET 11 or 10. I don't know what number we're up to. We got C Sharp 11, I think now, 14 or whatever number it is. I mean, how can you not be excited? There's some awesome stuff coming. So there you go. All right, C Sharp. Are you a light or dark meat?
I'm,
Light mode or dark meat? Dark
I'm,
mode.
al- I'm always light.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Do you get up in the morning really early, or are you a late night developer?
Oh, so that's changed. That's changed since children. I'm an early
Oh, okay.
morning. Yeah. I
All
used
right.
to be late
That
night,
explains
now
light
I'm
mode
early
then.
morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so were you dark mode before?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. What's your go-to debugging trick? Is there something that you like to use? In the past, I taught myself how to use WinDBG, and then I use Fiddler a lot for watching what's happening on the wire. Trace points are another thing that I tend to do. Is there anything in that list or anything that you got that you would recommend for folks?
Go-to debugging trick. We've been
Printf,
getting,
console.writeline.
yeah, console. Yeah, that's all of my front end development
Yes.
is yeah, print to the console. Um,
Yep, just print to the console.
yeah, we've been trying to get into Honeycomb, and sort of
Okay.
like the uh, tracing, get a picture of what's going on in Octopus before there's a problem, or
Yes.
before the customer reports a problem. So that's something that we're adopting in the team. We're trying to get better at
Yep.
reading traces
Yep.
and capturing the correct information.
Yeah, traces are great. I'm also a fan of crash analysis, which can be a bit
Hmm.
tricky for some folk. But I know that there's languages like Go that are adding this capability to their runtimes. And so rather than tracing everything, it will just trace what's happened in the last, say, like it's not exactly this, but like what happened in the last 500 instructions or the last 1,000 instructions and trace everything from there when it
Hmm.
crashed. And so you can actually see, like, oh, okay, the car goes off the road and then it hits the tree, and okay, that's why it went off the road. Okay, we got it. So I'm a big fan of that. Most satisfying bug you've ever fixed. Now, I know you've been at Octopus the longest, aside from Henrik. Employee number six. Come on, you've seen some bugs. Are there any gnarly ones that you may have? Like, you can go way back in the archives if you want, but are there any bugs that you remember that were just like, oh my, that was an awesome bug that we crushed?
Some of the performance bugs are really satisfying because they take a really long
Yes.
time to figure out. Um, so yeah, I'd say something to do with performance.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on the performance side. I remember when I was at Microsoft and we crushed the dispatcher lock problem in the Windows kernel, and that
Hmm.
just held up so many processes and forks and things like that. Even though fork doesn't exist on Windows, but we had like system.create thread, that sort of thing. It's the equivalent of fork. I just say fork. I don't care. But that was one that I was really satisfied just as a member of Microsoft when I saw that fix. I know that we've done a lot of work around, like we used to use an ORM called Nevermore. Did you have any fingerprints on that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was, I guess, one of the first things when I joined was the going from version 2.6 to version 3,
Yes.
and the switch from from Raven to Nevermore.
Yes.
Um, so yeah.
I can see the memories coming back now, so maybe we should move on because I might have a flashback and won't want to keep talking. All right. What is your favorite Octopus step template? We have a lot of step templates. We have over 570 that shipped from the community. Is there now? You're not allowed to say run a script, okay?
Oh
Everyone,
man.
everyone run. Yeah. Is there a step template that you like? That you thought was really well engineered, that looks really tight, that works really well, and you can't say run a script. Come on, that's the easy one.
I'm kind of embarrassed to say like run a script is the only one I use.
That's fair.
Uh,
Okay, run a script. Yeah. Is there anything about that that you would like to see added? Like, we've got the five languages in run a script. We've got,
mm.
conditions around like retries and things like that. Is there anything around step templates that you would like to see added?
Actually, so I think the beauty of run a script is in its simplicity and that you can
Yes.
do anything with it, right?
Yeah.
Um, anything I'd like to see added to it? Nah, I think it's good.
Is
That's why
there a
it's my
condition you
favorite.
never
It's
use?
perfect.
Like, yeah, I know, but like,
Ah,
this is like it's like trying to
yeah,
ask
I think
what's your
I
yeah.
yeah, who's your favorite child? Um,
Yeah, exactly.
um, yeah, I think actually taking things away uh would be more valuable because there's a bunch of stuff in there that might be niche.
Yes.
So actually simplifying run a script, I think would be my
Okay.
route, taking things away rather than
Yeah,
adding
I
them.
know that. Yeah, like we've got the five languages in there. We've got retries, etc. It can get, yeah, I think the logic can get a bit gnarly, but anyways, food for thought. Is there one tool that you wish existed in your workflow but doesn't yet? Again, these questions are meant to make you think on your
Yeah,
feet.
yeah. There's the recent problem. Um, talking to so many people and trying to keep notes. I take copious
Okay.
notes. And talking to other managers, they're using AI Companion to record
Yes.
notes for them so they don't get sucked out of, as you're taking notes, you get like sucked out of the conversation. I just got to jot
Oh
this
yeah.
down and then sort of back into
Yes.
it again. So yeah, something to take notes for me is sort of
Okay.
the next tool I'm going to incorporate into my workflow.
My suggestion is just have everything as a Zoom call and then turn on the AI companion. So, yeah.
Yep,
But then you lose all the
do
human
this that.
interaction and, being able to build relationships. But yeah, that's the sacrifice I guess people have to make if they want automated note taking, unless you just record the conversation, I guess. But yeah, well, there you go. If you weren't in software, this is our last question, by the way. If you weren't in
Okay.
software development, what would you be doing instead?
If I wasn't in software development, so okay. Um, wasn't this is- so this is my third choice of career. Uh, my first choice was as a kid, the only thing I did was emulate Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, Lanny McDonald. So that was my first choice of career. I'd be a hockey player.
Nice.
That one didn't work out. Moved to Australia. There wasn't very much ice here.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and then I was I was in a band that gigged around for a few years. Also a career that is very hard to make work out. So one of
Yes,
those
much like
one of
software
the
development, it's a solo pursuit, often very antisocial at times. But when you ship software, it's like you're on stage and the crowd is cheering you. Sorry, little little
exactly.
tangent there. So,
Yeah.
what was the name of the band?
It's called Truth Serum.
Oh, nice name.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What style
Aussie
of band? What style of
is
music?
is is Aussie hip hop.
Oh my God.
Back in the back in the late 90s is amazing.
Real, yeah. Okay, if we can just corner this area of the music market, we'll make it. Sort of the Aussie hip hop.
Aussie
Wow.
hip hop.
Okay.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Awesome. All right. Well, Shane, it was awesome to talk to you. I love the stories and Fire in Motion, as we like to say here in Australia, continues to kick goals. That's a positive, by the way, for those who don't know. So we look forward to many other iterations and deployments from you guys. Hopefully, there'll be more features that turn in, or more fixes that turn into features like deployment freezes, etc. But in the meantime, thanks. Really appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, John. Appreciate it.